Americans have come a long way from when they originally began to punish those who broke the law in colonial times with methods like physical labor and public humiliation. It wasn't until the 1900s when we began instituting prisons and parole systems. We have come a long way, but the American criminal justice system still lacks the productivity necessary to keep Americans safe. According to a study done by the Bureau of Justice, 76% of released prisoners in 2005 were arrested again within 5 years. Recidivism, defined by Merriam-Webster as a tendency to relapse into a previous condition or behavior, is high in the American criminal justice system and costs Americans billions of dollars each year. Alternative programs like rehabilitation, parole reform, and educational programs would effectively reduce crime while keeping the country safe and save money. In return for paying taxes, Americans are given the many rights as citizens. The United States Constitution defines the right to a speedy trial, but when the courts are overworked, defendants are sometimes left waiting for the trial to begin. This pretrial period can sometimes be detrimental to their family, their education, or their job. Colorado County in Texas has implemented a pretrial intervention program to speed the trial process and prevent the defendant's life from falling apart. The program specifically targets nonviolent misdemeanors in which the defendant is willing to immediately plead guilty in order to defer their prosecution. Defendants must apply for the program with a high school or college transcript, recommendation letters, resumes, and a sworn application in order to be considered for the program. Most importantly, the application for pretrial intervention must include the defendant's account of the crime and an explanation of themselves taking responsibility for his or her actions. Once approved, the defendant will be given a specific set of rules to be followed in order for the charges to be dismissed. Usually, these rules require a mandatory amount of service hours per week spent doing community service, a curfew, anger counseling, drug treatment, or enrolling in college classes. This simplified process allows nonviolent offenders to move on from their past and become a productive member within their community, and avoid having to spend money and time on a trial. Unlike pretrial intervention programs and prison sentences, rehabilitation seeks to change a person. It is one of the most controversial alternatives to prison. Supporters of rehabilitation in place of prison usually view crime as a sort of expression. Incarcerating first and second time nonviolent offenders denies a person from seeking treatment from addiction or depression. Without treatment, the criminal will eventually end up back in prison and cost the state even more, according to a study done by the Bureau of Justice. Another study done by the University of California, Irvine, found that California spends an average of $43,000 each year on an inmate. Only 5%, or $2,000, goes towards services like counseling, drug treatment, and anger management programs. Rehabilitation has been actually found to be less expensive than the cost of imprisonment. Since its enactment, the Substance Abuse and Crime Prevention Act of 2000 has been estimated to save California $18 million a year by providing drug diversion programs as an alternative to prison. These programs are crucial to preventing recidivism because they educate those who commit crimes in order to provoke positive changes in their lifestyles. Criminal justice theorists suggest that education is a crucial tool for reducing crime. Because one of the goals of prison is to reintegrate criminals into society in order to prevent recidivism, education programs have been implemented in many correctional facilities. Studies have shown that the more time a person spends in school, the less likely they are to commit a crime. Education allows the person to mature and understand their peers on an intellectual level. Understanding the English language allows for better communication. Learning a skilled trade allows for more job opportunities. Criminals who take advantage of classes offered to them during their sentence are able to find more jobs after their sentences. Once they have a job, criminals will be less likely to return to their old habits if they've been integrated into society properly. Therefore, reducing prison sentences for those who are willing to receive an education in prison would be beneficial to the United States. Not only would the criminals spend less time in prison, but they'd also be less likely to be arrested in the future. In a time where budget cuts and government spending are popular topics, alternatives to incarceration are very important. Social programs and modifications to existing policies have significant benefits on the United States. Investments to programs for low-income families will help the criminal justice system in the future by preventing crime. By modifying how the court labels and punishes crimes, prison populations will decrease. American lawmakers should reevaluate how we punish our criminals. These investments will save our country's money while making America a safer place to live.